Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a casted game of Age of Empires 4, and today we've got a battle of the 3D clan. In the northwest corner of the map, we've got 3DB playing in orange as the Rus, and he's going to be going up in the southeast corner of the map, up against 3D Dark, playing in blue as the Abbasid dynasty. Welcome to the Prairie, one of the newer maps for Age of Empires 4, and a very open map. So it'll be interesting to see how these two civilizations play out with the Rus versus the Abbasid dynasty. Got the hunting cabin up and running already for 3DB, getting an early wheelbarrow, and does have the extra scouts on the field, looking to contest the hunts, of course. The Rus getting access to the bounty system. The more hunt that they kill, the more bounty they get, more gold they get, and reaching certain thresholds, that will increase the economy bonuses that they get. The Abbasid dynasty looking to go on 3 villages on gold. Pretty standard opening here with the House of Wisdom now being built, and I suspect it will be that economic wing. What's interesting though, recently on this patch for Age of Empires 4, we have seen the Abbasid dynasty go up to the Castle Age with the military wing. And it's something we will probably look to discuss a little bit further into the game if that ends up being the case. If 3D Dark does end up going with the military wing, we shall see. But for now, we're going to have to focus on the scouting. A lot of bounty coming in for 3DB. There's the economic wing for Dark coming in there with the House of Wisdom. Pretty standard opening, has to be said. And what's interesting about the map is that, of course, the hunting cabin will generate gold passively for the Rus. With the lack of wood lines, the prairie is a little bit of a tricky one for the Rus. It's going to be going up to the next stage with the Golden Gate. Using 6 villagers to do so. It's got plenty of sheep underneath the town centre as well. So that's one thing to bear in mind with the prairie. There are a lot of sheep on the map, so going for the extra scouts certainly can help. And it's tricky for the Abbasid dynasty as well, because the berries are often quite far out. And you can see here as well, 3D Dark not actually opting to get the berries until now. We'll be sending those villagers soon though. Building a mill. Another wolf will be killed there by 3DB's scout. What I've noticed as well, the scouts actually have a lower regeneration rate for their health since the new patch for Age of Empires 4, so it is a little bit more tricky to kill the hunts. And also the wolves, they have a leash mechanism, so they no longer follow the scouts. It once was upon a time where the scouts would actually shoot the wolves and the wolves would aggro to the scout indefinitely. They would just continuously follow them, and they could take the scouts to the town centre for the town centre to kill the wolves. That is no longer possible in Age of Empires 4. Quite a few villages on gold actually for Dark, 4 of them. That's surprising to see. We'll be looking to get that wheelbarrow soon, I suspect. Although, actually, he can afford it, so I wonder whether this might be a fast castle. This is an interesting build, actually, because he could afford wheelbarrows, opting not to take it just yet, as far as we can tell at least. And no eco upgrades, so it's curious they've got extra villages on gold. Looks to be putting down an outpost. Well, was initially. He cancelled that. It's going for an archer range for the feudal age aggression. I haven't really seen any production builders coming up for 3DB. He's actually mining the stone. So it does look to be a second town centre. There is a way to get a second town centre using the Golden Gate. Once upon a time, these town centres used to cost 300 stone, but now they're costing 350. Meaning that you can't necessarily just trade in 2 tickets. Trading 100 of one resource gets you 150 of the other. So, as you can see, for example here, exchange 100 gold for 150 stone. You used to be able to use 2 tickets with the Golden Gate house. The Golden Gate rather, to get that town centre. But now with 350 stone being the requirement, looks like 3DB has just mined the 50 stone and is going to eventually trade in the Golden Gate for the extra town centre. It's going to start off opening with a stable first though. Let's get some map presence on the field. Does have quite a bit of gold in the bank. Probably could afford an early knight or 2, and that's a bit of a problem for 3D Dark because he's got an archer range. Well, he's going for camel archer, so it's not too bad an option. Camel archer is very expensive a unit. Very pricey, 180 food, 60 wood. It's going to open with a stable as well. And what's nice with the Abbasid dynasty, of course, with going for the economic wing and getting the fresh foodstuffs upgrade, the villages actually cost half price. Meaning that, well, all the food can be pumped into military. There's plenty of food on this map, as you can see underneath the town centre. Now, with this number of villages on gold, this has got to be a fast castle, surely. We'll have to see. In any case, getting wheelbarrow, say fast castle. Of course, he's getting a couple of units, as we see the majestic camel archer riding across. There's the engagement there. There's the horseman. Villagers coming out there to the boar. Looks like there's that second town center being put here on the berries. Small wood line and the boar. Camel Archer's going to spot this, going to try and micro this dark, and going to need to run away with the scout. What's interesting though is that 3DB might look to try and take out the scout with the horseman, because the horseman does have the faster movement speed. He's just keeping a track on where the scout's heading off to. 2 scouts of his own. Camel Archer, there we are. The horseman does switch now to that scout. He wants to kill that scout. He's going to cut off the retreat on the side. And that second town center will be going up now for 3DB, looking to play the eco approach a little bit here. There's the scout dying. Horseman comes out on the field for 3D. Dark, that is. Push that away a little bit. Continues to produce the horseman. With 500 gold in the bank, Dark has got plenty of gold. Of course, he's struggling on the food because he has had to invest in units. And this is not a bad place actually to be for Dark, it has to be said, because one way to counter sort of an aggressive eco approach is to go aggressive military, and well, having to take advantage to the next stage, that could certainly help him. Village counts relatively neck and neck, but 3DB is actually a bit behind. Maybe had a little bit of idle time. It's a bit surprising, but in any case, that villager lead will obviously narrow, and certainly 3DB will start to climb in the villager lead. But certainly food is coming in now at a nice rate. Plenty of sheep underneath the town centre, so this is quite a nice strategy you feel on Prairie, because of the number of sheep you can gather. Last Castle is a real possibility on this map. Back at home, 3DB does have that wooden fortress, which bolsters the amount of wood dropped off at the lumber camp there, getting forestry upgrade as well, and double broad axe. So certainly the eco upgrades coming in for the roost, but they are coming in for the Abbasid dynasty as well. He's spending the gold that he has, going for specialized picked and horticulture to get the food income a little bit faster, but he's going to be getting up to the next stage very soon. What's super interesting is what will he use to get to the next stage? Which wing will he go for? Will he go for the culture wing? Will he go for the military wing? I suspect it could be the military wing, but instead he goes for the culture wing. Now the military wing is something that would actually allow the military technologies to become available, like boot camp, camel rider shields, obviously in the castle age. Not quite yet, but camel support would be unlocked in the imperial age. Culture wing, on the other hand, does give you cheaper technologies after you've researched preservation of knowledge, of course. And villager lead starting to build up. 2 lead has been established. 34 now, 3 villagers. 34 villagers to 31. Camel Archer on his last limbs there. Only 10 HP on that guy. Okay. Lots of units going to be coming out soon for 3DB. Going to play an extended field age, you feel, here with double arch range, another stable, or triple arch range. Holy moly. Got a lot of buildings here. Triple arch range, a stable. He's also got some back at home. I believe he's got a stable there. So 3 arch range, double stable. There's going to be castle age units versus field age units, but not all that many units on the field for Dark yet. We're looking to change that. Oh, look at the eco though. It's super strong here for 3D Dark. In 1 town centre, the Abbasid dynasty. No second town centre expansion. Not something you commonly see with the Abbasid dynasty. They're known for their second town centre's expansion, but he's going just for 1 today. And well, look at the food and gold that's coming in. He's going to be able to produce a lot of units, a lot of castle age lancers perhaps. We shall see. He needs to keep the enemy away here. He's going to move those villagers off of berries, go back to the safety of the town centre, the sheep that's there. And look at this. I mean, he's still gathering food from the sheep. That is absolutely huge. Having the safe food there, we'll be able to get map presence on the field in the castle age. And as soon as he hits that castle age, you feel he's going to spam those units. Look at the food and gold he has. Be able to afford some upgrades too if he wanted to. There we are. Instantaneously, queues up a couple of, well, 1 camel, 1 lancer. And 3DB, he's going to need to be careful. You feel like there's no way for him to really get to the castle age himself anytime soon. So probably going to have to double down and be aggressive very soon. I've talked about it on the channel before. Once you age up, that's kind of when you're at your most vulnerable, and so it is a bit of a vulnerable time for Dark. He needs to build up his forces as 3DB starts to mass outside the base. Not all that many units, they do retreat. 3D Dark has a bit of scouting information now. He cannot take the fight just yet. He needs to wait for his castle age units to pop out. Here, the first of them, a camel rider and a lancer. Just to see if he's getting some upgrades. Just getting a blacksmith now, so he won't have any military upgrades just yet, but neither will 3DB. Dark is riding out, looking to see if he can get a cost-effective trade here. He might pounce on this. He's going to pounce on it. He takes the fight, takes the engagement. I'm not sure it's the best one for him, but it does have 2 camel riders, which will do really well against the Roos feudal age knights, the early knights. He heads back home now. Dark does lose a camel rider though, so overall not a bad start for 3DB perhaps jumped the gun a little bit there, Dark. Does have more lancers coming out now. Another stable on the field, so triple stable production. Nothing coming out the archer range just yet. Could afford some camel riders, so surprising. Or camel archers rather. So surprising not to see that coming out for him. Plenty of food coming in. Holy moly. We'll start to lose food underneath the town centre though, so that's something to bear in mind. Could transition back onto berries. Does have map control with the units on the field. Takes the engagement now. This is going to be a good engagement, you feel, for Dark. And 3DB has to retreat back to the safety of the second town centre. Archer's popping out, but the problem for B is that his production buildings are on the front line. Something happening on the west here. Looking to pick up a relic there, the monk, scholar, the imam rather. Oh, this is a bug. He's not actually able to pick it up. That's weird. Wasn't actually able to pick up the relic there. In any case, the battle continues. 33 military on the field for B though, with a 12 villager lead. B heading down south, looking to get some eco damage himself, I feel. Going to try and flank things a little bit. Looking to get a keep here, I think, here, Dark. Plenty of villagers on that stone. Plenty of food as well in the bank. Quite a few villagers on gold. 11 of them. But certainly food is going to become a concern for Dark soon if he's not careful. Army's heading down south, but the army coming in for Dark, heading towards the centre, picking off some units. Quite a nice engagement. B's army's out of position, but they will flank back around. Camel Archer does get taken down. Lancers harassing the archers. Archers running around the archery ranges themselves. Knights do come into play now for 3DB. Definitely has the numbers advantage, of course, but the tech advantage certainly in favour of Dark. And he's going to dive here. He's killing some villagers on the berries, so that's good damage he's getting. Does kill a couple of the early knights on the west side. Looks like he's trying to pick up another relic. Oh, Camel Rider does good work there. Fighting underneath the town centre, but there are a couple of archers there. Now, the archers really kind of tickle these lancers, but with a mass like this, they can do a decent amount of damage. These archers will die, though. They're really barely touching these knights, especially with the Iron Undermesh upgrade, too. There's only so much these archers can do in the feudal age. 3DB really needs to get to the next stage, but he's going to struggle, because if he stops producing units, then he's likely to die quite quickly. Villagers losing their lives on the berries as well, and that villager lead not so extensive as it once was. 4 knights or lancers there for Dark. Continues the chase and be able to pick off units here. Back at home. Where are these villagers getting food from? That's the next step for Dark to transition his economy. In any case, holy smokes. Professional scouts coming in for the Rus and 3DB. He does not want to start that transition to farming at all. There are a couple of spearmen on the field as well, but these are feudal age spearmen. Decent job they will do though. The knight numbers do group together. Look at this, Dark microing with his knight, his lancer, moving that back home, maybe to heal up actually. That'd be impressive. Going for a second town centre, so it wasn't a keep actually. The second town centre, and this is a nice play because of course it's quite cheap for 3D Dark to get those villagers. Half the price. Snipe the spearmen with those lancers. That's going to take the engagement, clear up the the Rus feudal knights. Looking good for Dark so far. And look at this. This is amazing micro here. Dark bringing back his weak knights, his weak lancers, and healing them up with the imams. And that's the big difference between top level players and, I guess, quote unquote mediocre players, as the villagers are garrisoned inside the town centre, 10 of them, and I think Dark's quite happy just to torch this down with lancers here because he's keeping 10 villagers idled. That's 10 villagers that actually be doing a lot of work for 3DB, and 3DB actually only has 6 villagers in lead, and if you actually count the idle villagers, there are 16 of them, so if anything 3D Dark has the villager lead, the effective villager lead, as the army comes in for 3DB looking to push these lancers away. Not sure if you'll be able to. He does get a good charge attack, and the spearmen there actually, so spearmen will do great work. This is a position that 3D Dark does need to retreat from, but the idle time cause there was immense, and look at this, the army comes in with healed up lancers again. Looking strong here. Does have a mosque. Gonna get some more scholars and healing these units up. This is perfect. What a play by 3D Dark. These units are staying alive for a very long time because of the healing power of these imams. Building a third town centre as well. Military numbers are equal, but of course the Castle Age tech upgrades that Dark has are really going to help him. He's got the second armor upgrade against archer units as well. Getting herbal medicine. That'll be increasing the healing rate of religious units by 60%, by the way. That is a huge bonus for these units. He's getting some archers himself. Of course, he's noticing the spearman transition. It's looking good for 3D Dark at the moment. And it's going to be aggressive. The army's going to move straight further forward. 3DB was looking to get a wooden fortress, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen now. Spearmen are on hand though. There's a lot of spearmen there for 3DB. Despite being feudal age units, they could do a lot of damage. And it's not necessarily something that Dark wants to take an effective fight on just yet. He's getting the second wood cutting upgrade. Lumber preservation. Also looking to get upgrades to his archers to the veterancy. And might take an engagement here now. Does have a couple of imams in the background healing up. It does take an engagement with the spearmen. Doing a lot of damage from B. That's a decent trade there overall for 3DB. But will the lancers for the castle age units for the Abbasid dynasty be too much? It seems like it could quite be the case. The imams are healing in the background. There are a couple of archers trying to micro down the imams. A couple of them go down. Just a couple more imams coming in to join the fight as well, and they're healing up those units, and it does seem like Dark is coming up on top on this fight, and 3DB, his Rus civilization, is backing off. 3 knights and 4 archers are trying to make away with their lives. A couple more spearmen heading in with new knights to join the fray, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. And with the upgrades coming in thick and fast for 3D Dark, he's going to be able to compound the issue. The fights are just looking better for Dark now. The villager lead is very minimal for 3DB, about 5 villagers, but a couple of them are idle. And the knights are heading in with the healing up of the imams, doing great work on those lancers that are weak. The crossbows, or the archers in fact, are sniping down those spearmen as much as they can. 10 villagers are garrisoned inside that town centre. And that game is really heating up. Looks like the production builder is going to be torched down by those lancers, and this is a problem for 3DB. If his production is cut off, then, well, that will just mean the end of the game. He's continuing to produce a lot though. Staying in the feudal age for now, can't afford to upgrade to the next stage, of course, not with this amount of military on the field, and there are the knights riding in again, with the archers in the back. Archers are focused down on the spears, and the imams are heading further forward, looking to heal up the weak lancers that are there. A lot of the lancers are surviving though, and looks like the imams are doing great work. The military numbers really dwindling there for the Rus. A huge fight here with the castle age lancers versus the feudal age knights, and the spearmen are all but gone, and that's a huge problem. The spearmen were really the units that could have saved 3DB here, but again, another good fight here for 3D Dark. The imams healing up the weak units that are remaining, and looks like now Dark might look to torch down this town centre in this position. Imams still healing up those weak units, and looks like the town centre needs to focus on the imams, but there's so many of those imams that I'm not sure we'll be managing, and that town centre probably going to be going down soon. Does give an opportunity for 3DB to remass up though. Does have a couple of spearmen, quite a few of them. A couple of villagers being picked off by archers though again. The archers heading forward to focus on the spearmen. And if the spearmen go down, that's the problem for 3DB. He needs to keep those spearmen alive, because they will be doing huge work against the lancers that are there. Although the archers now picking off the weak knights there, that is huge. And I think the difference in this game will be the imams that are healing up those units. Spearmen engage. Archers though focusing on the spears. Villagers are coming out to try and repair that town centre, spending the precious wood to repair it. And what if the veteran archers are going to focus on the military for now? Lancers do get a wrap around on the villagers, and they're heading in to maybe sweep around those archers in the back line. Imams there in the thick of the fight, and this looks like a problem for 3DB. Spearmen are all but gone, and so are the feudal age knights, and 3DB taps out with 3D Dark winning on the prairie with the Abbasid dynasty.